What? I'm talking about a comic book that I don't have? Let's talk about the end. There's the Doctor Strange, the end, and the Deadpool, Captain Marvel, the end, Miles Morales, Spider-Man had a the end coming out. There's a whole bunch of these that I didn't read, that I don't care for, because they're not in continuity. That's why. If a comic book build has no building blocks, how reading this will not benefit me in any way, because the writers of the current 616 stories will never go, oh, it says at the end that such and such is going to die by these causes. I'm going to tease that in here now because when we finally reach the end, we don't reach the end and comics just keep going forever and slide that time scale. So personally, I can't get with a story like that. Anytime Marvel actually does a number one, but a series of number ones happening in the same time, all within like a 1 month span, maybe 2 month span, because it actually takes 2 months for your comic book store to get feedback on the numbers. So they're predicting blindly, okay, Spider-Man's popular, we're gonna do a the end for him. Okay, boom, 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 boom. Oh, it's Captain Marvel's got to the end. Okay, boom, boom, boom. Like, you know what I mean? When they do that, they're just trying to trick the comic book store to make money. The purpose of this is to make money. It's not for the sake of story. It's a business decision. It's just like making two number zeros for the Empire event. It's like, yeah, you're gonna buy the Fantastic Four, the Avengers. You're gonna also buy it because we're adding it to the trade paperback of the Empire because number zeros are included in in trades. If you remember the Spider-Man Hunted series, there was like the side stories that were not essential, but they helped with Gibbon Gang. Those were included in the trades because there are people who just read trades, so you're stuck with this. You're going to pay that extra money. That's the way Marvel rolls. So these number ones of the end, I see it as a opportunity to make money off people, trick a couple of not trick, but confuse a couple of comic book stores who don't know how to predict the market for this. I personally will never knowingly read a meaningless story. That goes for Age of X-Men. Never read a single issue of that. I don't regret it. I can't believe there's human beings who actually read the Age of X-Men, who actually read the previews and said, oh, it's going to be a different universe. That's cool. Listening to Jordan D. White, my favorite editor at Marvel, listening to him say, oh, it's a brand new universe with brand new characters. You're not going to know what happened. Everything's going to return to normal and no one's going to ever mention it. I remember saying that in one of my videos. I remember somebody writing a comment somewhere and I'm like, yeah, we'll see. Well, do we see on this day? You see clearly now that there is no Age of X-Men mentions. Like, these are filth. They're nothing books. Just like the end. What else did they do recently? Where they just did a bunch of number ones of 2099. I mean, we're not committed to that future. I don't gotta know what the Punisher is up to in 2099 because the guy writing Punisher now isn't looking at that story and saying, I gotta, oh, it says he's got an eye patch in here, so I'm gonna give him loss of vision now, so it builds to that. That doesn't happen. These are nothing comic books, and I can identify them. However, if you're someone who kind of wants to spend $4 to see the demise of Captain Marvel, because you're a huge fan of her, you read everything from her, maybe you're a fan of the artist and the writer, maybe that's your cup of tea, you got disposable income, you don't mind it, thank you for making it easier for me because I'm going to weed out these comics. Marvel's going to put out 50 comics a month, roughly, maybe even more. I don't count exactly. They're going to put out, let's say, 50. So if the garbage zero nothing books come out and they're not in continuity, that saves me the effort and the thought of, man, what's happening in the Marvel universe? I'm good with them doing, I guess, 20 significant comic books. Remember, I think almost a month ago, I made a video saying these are the essential comics you need to read, and these are ones that are not essential. I think when I counted essential, one out of every three books were actually an essential comic book that I would say, hey, check it out. It's kind of useful. It's worth it. Like the Avengers, I would say it's the Marvel hub of comics to read. Anything from the end? Not at all. Anything from the Guardians? Definitely. They are representing space with all of the planets, and I'm sure it'll mean something in Empire because something will be established here, especially because Al Ewing's writing it. That's cool. Someone like Iron Man, I could argue he's pretty significant to be reading because he's a Marvel mainstay. Thor, there's these certain characters who got their own kind of bubbles. Asgard, the realms. It's kind of important to know what's going on. The X-Men, of course, the main X-Men title is always going to be an essential, especially with the correct writer. But then there is the filth that you don't got to read. So basically, X-Men and X-Force, you do got to read, and everything else is not essential, bro. Unless you're really, really good with your X-Men, and then I'd say, okay, fine, pick up New Mutants, pick up Marauders, and pick up, that would be it, right? That would be it. Now I talk about number ones that coming out that mean nothing. If Jonathan Hickman is writing a giant-sized X-Men comic book like Nightcrawler, Magneto, Jean Grey, they're all getting their giant-sized number ones. I'm not dissing that. I'm not saying that's not essential. You look at who the writer is, you look at how it's happening within continuity, it's also an extra dollar. So this is what Marvel should be doing. Do your little number ones, but also make it meaningful. Don't put it in a beyond universe or a timeline in the future or some stupid thing that doesn't actually matter. Put the main writer on it and tell him, listen, you got your universe that you're doing over here. Make it matter to the X-Men. I haven't even read the X-Men giant size number ones that are going to cost an extra dollar, but I know they're going to be good because of the man who's putting the time in to do it. He doesn't take nothing jobs. He would never take an Age of X-Man. So, oh, great, I get to draw a story, write a story with. No, he would never do that. There are people who would, and Jonathan Hickman's not one of them. We know he's a big deal as a writer. We know he's not just writing for the sake of nothing. He's a builder, like building stories. So everything that happens in Giant Size X-Men, without even reading it, I know will matter and will be significant. And the information that we gain from there is going to help me be a better fan, more knowledgeable of the X-Men franchise in Marvel. I know that. So we got to figure out how to do more of those if you're Marvel. Or don't, and I'll still not buy the comic books. That was long. I made that joke. I was going to say, that's what she said, but I made that joke the last time I made a long video. So that being said, my name is Chillmonger. Go watch the comic book reviews that I'm going to do this week. I already did the X-Men comic book review. And go watch my most recent one over here, unless it's actually the X-Men video. No, that wouldn't happen. I'll purposely make X-Men on this side, and then this will be the most recent video after that.